Well, Africa's lions are also high on CITES' agenda in the coming week. For more on that now, I'm joined live by CCTV's Clementine Logan. She's following events in Johannesburg. Clementine?
Well, that's right, Beatrice. Representatives at COP17 are split over whether or not to increase protection for Africa's lions. In some countries in Central and Western Africa, the populations have declined dramatically due to poaching for their bones, and in other countries, they're hunted legally. In Southern Africa, there's support for both captive bred and wild hunting, which some argue generates vital income for conservation efforts. Well, my colleague Farai Mwakatiyo has been following the debate and sent this report from Zimbabwe.
Once famous for his TV appearances, Cecil the lion became a global icon after his death. He'd allegedly been lured from a reserve, was first wounded, then finished off, then skinned, then beheaded. Apart from the sheer cruelty, activists say trophy hunting is depleting wildlife populations. The number of lions in Africa has reportedly fallen more than 40% since 1993. Countries such as Kenya banned trophy hunting years ago, but it's very lucrative. Walter Palmer, the dentist who killed Cecil, reportedly paid $50,000 for the privilege. Zimbabwe says it can't afford to turn away that sort of tourist.
The impact on it will be devastating to the industry, to the economy, because, mind you, the Big Five, which we pride ourselves in Zimbabwe, is a draw card for the international visitor who wants to come and have an experience in the wild.
Some of the money is put back into conservation, helping protect the country's estimated 2,000 lions and other species, including rhino and elephant.
Conservation approach for Zimbabwe at the moment is the sustainable use, of which hunting is a major contributor towards revenue in terms of direct contribution towards management and also assisting campfire communities that coexist with these lions, getting benefits, incentives to look after the lions.
The Wildlife Authority is acutely underfunded and battles to patrol vast national parks. Revenue from hunting quotas has helped keep it going. It says the country's famed wildlife, including the iconic Big Five, would be put at greater risk should the critical lifeline be cut off. So losing Cecil was a tremendous blow. But for Zimbabwe, losing its trophy hunters would be far, far worse. Farai Mwakatiyo, CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Well, earlier on, I spoke with the Professional Hunters Association of South Africa, a group that's somewhat outnumbered in the main CITES exhibition hall by NGOs which are quite firmly opposed to their views. But I wanted to find out why they believe that trophy hunting is so crucial to helping conserve the continent's lions. Why does your organisation believe that hunting plays an important role in conserving Africa's lions?
If something is worth saving, people look after it. You know, in Africa we've got a lot of communities that suffer from the consequences of wildlife and human conflict. And if it hasn't got any value for them, people won't tolerate them. Trophy hunting plays a huge role in conservation. Trophy hunting, the word trophy, I would prefer to replace it with conservation hunting, simply because that is what it is. We concentrate on the older males, sometimes females in South Africa as well. That's past their breeding prime. And if that money that goes into the hunting, either conservation fees or licensing fees or contributions towards conservation research funds, then trophy hunting plays a huge part in especially rural areas where there's communities that depend on hunting for an income. And for job creation.
How would you respond to critics of captive breeding, canned hunting and trophy hunting who say that perhaps it's an unnecessary process?
Professional Hunting Association distanced itself last year in November during our annual general meeting of the practice of captive bred lion hunting. It is not the what they do, it's how they do it that we're totally opposed against. We cannot continue to defend the undefendable. As far as canned lion hunting is concerned, that's illegal. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, even Tanzania has got very stringent regulations already in place. And in those countries where lion hunting is properly managed and properly regulated, the lion populations are actually very healthy.
How do you guarantee that the money generated from hunting goes directly into conservation, and can you give any recent concrete examples of that?
We've taken ownership of conservation as well to make sure that it's unbiased information. So a lot of money goes into conservation. In one of our neighbouring countries, for instance in the Niassa Game Reserve in Mozambique, 20% of the conservation funds that hunting outfitters pays to the government goes directly into the coffers of the community leaders, and that is used for community development.
Well, it's certainly a divisive issue, but one that CITES Secretary General tells me could see some compromise here at COP17. With Africa's lions remaining on Appendix 2, which would allow for regulated international trade potentially, but with stricter monitoring of the trophy hunting process itself, as well as trying to ensure, he told me, that the proceeds generated from that do indeed go back into conservation efforts and to the local communities in those areas to benefit them. Opponents, of course, say this doesn't go far enough and that would be very difficult to police indeed. But we'll know more on the outcome in the next few days. Back to you.
Right, Clementine Logan, following the CITES conference in Johannesburg.